Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our third episode of Alpha Brief. My name is Dennis Njoroge. Today, kama kawa kama dawa, we are joined by the amazing Ken. This is the head of research and founder of Henrietta Investment Management. Going to be telling us about one company on the demand side. And this company tried to buy Nokia. I remember we had Nokia Lumia. But then what happened to them? You'll mention the company as you tell me what happened.
Thank you very much, Dennis. In the acquisition of Nokia, I think we mentioned Nokia previous episode and why they decided not to try and change.
Yeah.
Of course, the bigger fish had to catch them.
Yes.
Right. And this company was Microsoft.
Yes.
I'm not even sure whether many people know of Microsoft. They just know it's one of the biggest companies. But today we're discussing it. Of course, we'll just give the brief details. Microsoft is a very, very, very dynamic and very huge company.
Okay.
If I was to ask you today, you only know Microsoft because of a very tiny thing that they bought.
Okay.
What else do you know about Microsoft?
Maybe the Word, Excel, Microsoft package.
Yeah. So many people know Microsoft because of MS Office.
Okay.
Microsoft Office, Word, Excel, blah, 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 blah. But when you run your computer, right, you are using Microsoft Word, right?
Yes.
How is that translating to the larger Microsoft? How are they making money at all? I'll tell you.
Okay, please.
Microsoft, they have something called that. You see that Office, which is what most people know of.
Yes.
It is an enlarged version of an Office. Yeah.
Okay.
With that whole package, you can be able to run an Office because you have Word, you have Excel, you have PowerPoint, you have Teams.
Yes.
Yeah. You have Azure, which is the main thing that I wanted us to talk about. So forget about Microsoft Office. It's their legacy business, of course. That is what most people know Microsoft about. But the Azure, like the Azure business, or rather, Azure is the cloud business. And you remember our investment thesis, artificial intelligence. The moment you hear cloud, just know that there's a lot of heavy computing. When you're talking about cloud, you're talking about data, memory, analytics, development, programming, and all this, they narrow down to what? Electricity, chips, speed, processing power, computing power, very huge computers.
Yes, yeah.
In the computing markets, I think Azure is second after AWS.
Okay.
Their cloud business is quite huge. And why it came into the Alphabet portfolio is because even as of the current market capitalization of Microsoft, there is still a lot that Microsoft has not exploited.
Okay.
Microsoft has gotten itself to up to $3 trillion of market cap because of the legacy business. Mm-hmm. Now, there is AI. They have not yet fully exploited the power of Azure. Yeah.
Okay.
When I say Azure, I mean Azure.
Yeah.
Azure. Yeah. So they have not yet fully exploited the power that Azure can bring, which is very similar to Google Cloud. I mentioned it in the previous episode, and same with AWS. Yeah. Right now, you want to make an app, just go to Azure or Google Cloud or AWS. You want to host a very powerful engine, go to Azure. Your films, your everything, you just go to Microsoft. This is what we thought.
Okay.
So Microsoft is a consumer of most of this AI infrastructure services, chips, data, memory, storage, blah, 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 because they need it for heavy computing of their platform. We have not even added OpenAI, which Microsoft has a significant stake in OpenAI.
Right.
Yeah, we have not yet added that. So even if you were to value Microsoft in using sum of parts, you'd have Azure, you'd have the legacy business, then you'd have OpenAI. As of now, we are at $3 trillion because of a very huge portion of the legacy business, a very, let's say, a medium portion of Azure,
all right,
and a very tiny business of OpenAI. Now, we are talking about Microsoft today. Okay, let's go 10 years from now. OpenAI is making money. Yeah.
Yes.
Azure is also fully exploited.
Yes.
Where do you think Microsoft will be?
Be highly valuable.
Yes, highly valuable.
As your investment basis on Microsoft, it's based on the growth of Azure and OpenAI,
Yes.
and also their legacy business.
Yeah,
But-
but legacy business, but not that much because
Yes, yes.
what? Unless they now get everyone right now needs Microsoft Word.
Yes.
Like it will not move the mountains. It will not move Microsoft from 3 to 6.
Yes.
But I can tell you, certainly Azure can move it from 3 to 6. OpenAI can move it from 3 to 6. Yeah. So those two, that's the only reason why we think Microsoft at $3 trillion, it's still a buy. Because those two, this legacy business has very little component of AI in it. But these other two have a heavy dose of AI in it. And like we said, 7 trillion will flow into AI players. Microsoft is one of the beneficiaries. It's about who adds the most to their business model. OpenAI, as of now, it's literally let's call it the number one as of now.
Okay.
They're not making money. They're building a lot of money.
Yeah.
The amount of capital that they need in order for them to be profitable,
Yes.
it might take a while. They might actually go for over 10 years without making money. But once they do, trust me, yeah. And you have seen how OpenAI has grown from GPT-3. I'm not even sure that it's 3 or 1 or 2. But when I started looking at it, it was at GPT-3. Now they're at 5. Yes. Proper, heavy computational stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, right now it can actually write me a PhD, like a thesis paper in microphysics.
Okay.
That I don't know about. Yeah. It has gotten to a level where we are now able to do deep research.
Yes.
Yeah. Reinforcement learning. These are all machine learning models. Yeah, we have moved from LLMs. We're now talking about big stuff. Okay, big stuff that will change the world. You remember when I mentioned about curing cancer, Alzheimer, diabetes, and most of these chronic diseases?
Yes.
It will be powered by some of these things.
It's very interesting. And come to think of it, the last time on our very first episode, you were talking about Uber, and you mentioned about scalability. And now looking at it, Azure and now OpenAI depends on the legacy business of Microsoft and their scalability, which also could be a factor.
Yes, it could be a factor. See, actually, that's very interesting because when you look at, Microsoft is a big daddy, right?
Yes.
It's not like Uber where it's on its way. It's already a hyperscaler.
Sure.
It's consuming data. It has so many users. It's one of those companies when the moment the CEO says we expect a positive management guidance, everything shoots up. It can actually move a whole index like S&P 500 by a percentage point.
Okay.
So it's a heavy company. Now, Azure, and of course Azure has been there for a while.
Yes.
OpenAI has also started, yeah.
Okay.
But it has not yet gotten to its full potential.
Yes.
The legacy business has been there. We have always known Microsoft Office as Microsoft.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, that scalability will power these two. Yeah. These two will benefit a lot just because of the mere fact that Microsoft is a hyperscaler.
Okay.
Yeah. So as of now, OpenAI could be bleeding a lot of money, but there is that advantage of the fact that it's Microsoft. So of course, there is a lot of resources to power up AI. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of So you'll actually realize that there's a lot of money. I'm not sure that this is the right thing to say, but if I was just being blunt,
Yes,
or trying to simplify things, money from legacy business is probably what is helping OpenAI grow. Because where do you think the investment came from?
Sure.
From revenues from Microsoft Office.
Yes.
Azure, it has always been there, but previously it was just a basic computing platform.
Yes.
Right now, you need to enhance it. You need to add some steroids to it.
Yes.
Like you need to be able to code an AI platform.
Yes.
And by AI, it means See, the moment you mention AI, you've already complicated everything because you're talking about artificial intelligence. By artificial intelligence, you say that you need large language learning models, yes, huge data centers, because before they give you some, let me take a pause and say this, and let's go slowly, yes, and try to reason. The reason why artificial intelligence is working, okay, is because of information. Okay. Okay. I studied actuarial. I know the importance of data. Yes. Okay. Yes. A very small portion of data will never get you a reasonable conclusion. Okay. A huge sample size. If today I was to compare how many people pass through Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, yes, then I have 10 people, I will not be able to make a good conclusion. But if I have data worth 10 years, yes, where millions of people have passed through Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, yes, I can be able to say 10% of the people passing through Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, yes, are women and children. Okay? Yes. But with 10 people, I cannot be able to say because, 10% of 10 is one. And out of the 10 people, you'd expect 5 women, five guys, right? Yeah. Sure. Now, bring that same analogy, okay, to artificial intelligence. Yeah. It will only work if you have very huge data sets. Yeah. Yes. So if you have Azure and you're calling a lot of data sets, then means you're talking about farms, AI farms. Yeah. Huge warehouses with computers, supercomputers, information passing through in nanoseconds. Yeah. Yeah. That place is very hot. So you need a lot of cooling fans and all that. Yeah. So by the time you actually pull in just that one query, you have gone through like 1,000 computers looking for the information that makes sense. Yeah. And that is where we say at $3 trillion, Microsoft still has a very huge potential in the next 5 years. All right. That's interesting. I'd really want us to look at where you see the valuation of Microsoft in the next 2 to 5 years. But before we look to the next 2 to 5 years, I'd like you to just briefly mention maybe previously where they were, maybe 2 years ago or 5 years ago, and where they are right now, and where we see their projections. Let's put whatever you have said into numbers. Okay. And this is what I'm saying. Amazon as of now is trading, I think, at around 500, okay, per share. But what we have said is at a valuation of around over 3 trillion, which I think it's around $3.7 trillion, majority of that valuation comes from the legacy business. Okay. And that is what it's translating to $500. Okay. And what we are saying is Azure and OpenAI will help Microsoft increase its value in future. Ideally, that translates to a higher valuation in future. What is actually making us say that is undervalued is its growth. Other metrics, such as the PEG ratio, revision outlooks, and all of that, might suggest otherwise. But when you look at growth, we are confident that might be undervalued. Because when you look at the growth, is projected to grow by around 15%. Now, 15% in terms of revenue, yes, that's very high for a microscaler. Yet the industry is growing at 7%. So it's literally growing double the sector. Yeah. Sure. So ideally, bring Azure and OpenAI into Microsoft. Yes. And then you definitely have a valuation that is higher than $500 a share. Yeah. So valuation of Microsoft is projected to, on a long-term basis, it will definitely be above what it's currently trading at. So especially once these two starts materializing significantly, then we'll definitely see that shift. All right. Thank you so much, Ken. I'd like you to give your final thoughts as we wind up. As I remind our viewers that we are doing this series and we are almost finishing on the demand side.
and very soon we're going to be tackling the supply side. So keep it alpha brief, and I'm pretty sure you're going to learn a lot. And I know there are people who are already following us through the alpha brief portfolio. People who are already investing, please give your feedback on the comment section. We'd like to know how is it going for you, and those who are also doing it outside the alpha brief portfolio, how is it going for you? If you're doing the investments individually, so give us your final words.
Let me start by saying that most investors, actually, if I look at some of the people that I've met, they will always say that Microsoft is overvalued. Then when you ask the reason why, they say it's very big, right? Then your question will always be, but what makes you think it's big? Yeah.
Yes.
Microsoft is only trading at 3.7 trillion, right?
Yes.
But what makes you think it's big? What makes you think that it's now gotten to that maximum?
Yes.
Nvidia came from a trillion to 5. Yeah.
Yes.
No one thought it was gonna get 5 trillion. As of now, it's the most valuable company. Being big is relative. And when I look at all the things that Microsoft is doing, it's gonna be bigger than ever.
Yes.
Especially with the addition of OpenAI, it is definitely going to be bigger than ever.
Right.
So my final thought is it's a good company to look at. Of course, it's a mature company actually, which makes it very, very good for investors that are risk averse.
Okay.
Because of course it does not experience very huge drawdowns.
Okay.
At my 2 cents are that this is a good company to look at. So my advice to some of the investors is go dig deep and go and validate what we actually say.
Yeah, sure.
And just try to look at it from an AI angle, and you realize that this is not just a company, but AI is going to revolutionize a lot of companies ways to come.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ken. I know we have more episodes coming, and our viewers, I know you'll keep it here at Alpha Brief. My name is Dennis Jeroge, and the amazing Ken Moturi, the founder and head of research at Henriette Investment Management. See you on the next episode. Goodbye.